Hello guys, today we are talking about best places to visit in Rome. Rome, the capital of Italy, is a complex city saturated with a rich history of culture. This city has an assortment of various places of interest and renowned spots in Rome. Situated on the focal western side of the Italian landmass, the city was established on the shores of the stream Tiber and has a free country, the Vatican City, inside its nation. The city possesses a focal situation in Western history, as is populated with close to however many verifiable and social attractions as it has individuals. By and large, Rome could apparently be known as the support of Western civilization. Capital of the Roman realm, the Roman Republic and the Roman domain, the city has since turned into the 14th most visited country on the planet and a UNESCO legacy site. You can see the power and cloud of the recent Roman realm in the vestiges of the Colosseum, or revel in the engineering delicacy at Palatine Slope. The magnificence of the ancient rarities at the Vatican galleries are unmatched, and nobody can leave Rome without seeing the Sistine House of Prayer. Number 1. The Colosseum and the Arch of Constantine. The Colosseum, situated in the memorable center, additionally alluded as Centro Storico in Italian. The Colosseum is likewise called the Flavian Amphitheater. Consistently, around 6 million individuals visit this notable structure since it is an image of Rome. For example, the Basilica di San Clemente, Basilica di San Pietro in Vincoli and Curve of Constantine, Colosseum is additionally near other well-known attractions in Rome. It's the most meaningful landmark to visit in Rome. With a limit of in excess of 50,000 observers, it's the biggest amphitheater in the Roman world. A considerable amount of blood was shed in these fields, where the well-known gladiatorial battles, creature battles and Roman games were held, consistently followed by terrible passings. The visit isn't free and you will presumably need to sit tight for a couple of hours prior to arriving in the event that you are going in high season. Number 2. Vatican City. Considered quite possibly the most holy spot in Rome as well as the planet, Vatican City is commonly known as the world's littlest nation and the seat of the Roman Catholic Church. This 44-hectare, 108.7 sections of land, country inside Italy's capital city, beside being a position of journey, has a crucial part in the protection of workmanship and history. Consistently, around 5 million travelers come to the Vatican to see its Renaissance treasures, like the Vatican Galleries, the Sistine Church, and St. Peter's Basilica. Indeed, even before the appearance of Catholicism, this initially uninhabited boggy region on a low slope was viewed as a holy spot. It held a sanctuary devoted to agnostic divinities, which stayed dynamic even after the old St. Peter's Basilica was constructed. The sacrosanct spot in Rome was laid out as a free state in 1929 under the Lateran arrangement, which settled the battles it looked at during the wild time of Italian unification. Today, it works as a clerical or sacerdotal monarchical state, managed by the Pope. Starting around 2015, it has around 451 occupants, including the church, Swiss watchmen, and discretionary staff. Number 3. The Pantheon. This phenomenal design and one of the delightful spots in Rome is supposed to be over 2,000 years of age. It was worked by the Roman head Hadrian as a sanctuary for the Roman divine beings. Extraordinary Italian rulers and Raphael, a renowned Renaissance painter, are covered in the Pantheon. The vault is its most interesting viewpoint, for it is unsupported yet it stands tall, with practically no harm. Palazzo Doria Pamphile. This private display in Rome exhibits significant craftsmanship via Caravaggio, Raphael, Velázquez, and Bernini. North of 400 works of art from the 15th to the 18th century are inside this castle. This significant social spot in Rome comprises 4 wings, with the Crude Room and the Aldobrandini Room that houses the works of art of extraordinary craftsmen. Workmanship fans ought to visit the little sanctuary that includes a few rooms like the dance hall with stylistic layouts from the 1900 years. Pacino Room that houses craftsmanship by Pacino himself. Jupiter Room embellished with compositions by Weenix and Giovannini. Natives Room that has a progression of wood board canvases. And the Velvets Rooms, a room covered by damask velvets. Millennia. Designers today are still in wonderment of its development. Its insides are molded as a chamber without any windows and simply the opening on the top, which is known as the Eye of the Pantheon or the Oculus. This Roman design is one of the most mind-blowing protected structures from Old Rome. Number 4. Roman Discussion. The Roman Discussion is close to the Colosseum, and notwithstanding being a stray of remains, it is a frequently visited place of interest in Rome. This rectangular square or gathering from the 7th century BC bears declaration to the city's rich social past. This significant spot in Rome was a graveyard and over the long haul turned into the famous realm's business and socio-political heartbeat. In old times, a few significant designs were situated close to the Roman gathering, for example, the Triumph Curve of Arco di Settimio Severo, the Sanctuary of Saturn and the Curia. This is a must-visit milestone for voyagers. Number 5. Trevi Wellspring. This delightful Rococo-style wellspring is in Rome's Trevi locale and is quite possibly the most shot and best spot in Rome. It was developed in 1762 by Nicola Salva and honors the Roman god Oceanus, who should be visible riding his chariot pulled by tritons and subduing a few hippocampus. The Fontana di Trevi is 26.3 meters, 86 feet tall. This noteworthy wellspring with inconceivable craftsmanship is an incredible 49.15 meters, 161 feet, wide. You would be shocked to discover that the Trevi wellspring was assembled where 3 roads meet, giving the design its name, for example 3-road wellspring. While flipping a coin into the wellspring is famous and respects the legend that guests will get back to Rome assuming that they do as such, be careful with dunking into its wealth as taking coins from the Trevi wellspring is unlawful. Number 6. Basilica of St. John Lateran. The Basilica of St. John Lateran, otherwise called Basilica di San Giovanni in Laterano, is the seat of the priest of Rome, the Pope, and is the most significant of the 4 significant ecclesiastical basilicas in Rome. Perhaps of the main spot in Rome and the Catholic chapels on the planet, the Archbasilica is finished with rich mosaics, cosmatesque floors, and 12 florid sculptures of the witnesses. All the more usually known as the Basilica of St. John Lateran, it is named for its area at the Lateran royal residence. Today, guests can see the 6 ecclesiastical burial chambers and awesome-size sculptures of the 12 messengers. Some little gathering visits additionally incorporate visits of the Vatican City's Vatican Exhibition Halls, Sistine Sanctuary, and St. Peter's Basilica. You should remember the following tips prior to entering this sacrosanct site. Wear agreeable shoes, a cap, and sunscreen on the off chance that joining a mobile visit through Rome, as there is a ton of ground to cover. Catholic houses of worship have a severe clothing standard that requires knees and shoulders to be covered. Photography without a streak is allowed inside the congregation. The basilica is completely open to wheelchairs or buggies by means of inclines inside and outside. Number 7. The Galleria Borghese. The Galleria Borghese is perhaps the most great and broad confidential assortment on the planet. Assuming they needed to pick one exhibition hall to visit during your Roman excursion, many individuals would pick this over the Vatican. The Galleria Borghese is filled to the gills with Bernini, Raphael and ancient rarities like floor tiles from the Colosseum that are straightforwardly lifted from the diagrams of history. This best spot in Rome to visit permits simply 300-odd individuals to enter each meeting, with each meeting enduring 2 hours. Purchase your tickets ahead of time. The way to deal with the Galleria Borghese is the Manor Borghese, which can likewise transform into a wonderful walk in the event that you plan your day as needs be. The noteworthy structure has a lovely and fancy front veneer that has many stone sculptures and improvements. Galleria Borghese is spread across 20 unique rooms. The broad Borghese assortment incorporates works by Raphael, Caravaggio, Rubens, and Titan. Number 8. St. Peter's Basilica. St. Peter's Basilica is perhaps the holiest sanctuary in Vatican City. This equivalent spot in Rome is where Holy Person Peter, one of Jesus' followers, was covered in 64 AD. Inside the basilica are significant masterpieces from Carlo Maderno, Bramante, and Michelangelo. A tremendous church can oblige 20,000 individuals. The vault, finished in 1614, is an unimaginable piece of engineering. At the point when you climb right to the top, you'll get a shocking perspective on St. Peter's Square. Close by places that you can likewise visit incorporate the Sistine Church and Vatican historical centers. Number 9. Castel Sant'Angelo. Underlying the year 135, Castel Sant'Angelo, or the Catacomb of Hadrian, was initially requested to be built as a sepulchre for the Roman ruler and his loved ones. The sovereign, sadly, passed on before it was finished. It was Sovereign Antoninus Pius, his replacement, who finished the structure and moved the previous ruler's remaining parts along with that of his child and spouse to the sepulchre. Quite a long while later, this popular spot in Rome was utilized as a shelter by the popes. Today, the palace has been changed over into an exhibition hall. Inside, travelers can see a few verifiable dolls, the ecclesiastical home, and works of art from the Renaissance timeframe. At the highest level, you can get a shocking perspective on the city. The nearest fascination is the Piazza Navona and Public Roman Historical Center. Number 10. Sistine Chapel. Constructed in 1473 and completed 8 years later, the Sistine Chapel is Rome's most valuable treasure. This most important historical place in Rome is where the papal conclave is held. The entire walls and ceilings of the Sistine Chapel are covered with paintings by Luca, Botticelli, Perugino, and the renowned Michelangelo. The ceiling of the chapel is covered in exquisite paintings depicting the 9 stories from the Book of Genesis and the Book of Revelation. The painters also worked on the stories of Moses, Jesus, and the prophets. Number 11. MAXXI. MAXXI, a design worked by Zaha Hadid and as of late opened in 2010, is the main gallery in Italy devoted to contemporary workmanship. This verifiable spot in Rome houses many current workmanship and engineering antiques and even records from specialists all over the planet, yet most especially from Italian craftsmen. You'll track down present-day photography assortments, models, and 21st-century plans. Aside from their normal displays, the exhibition hall additionally holds week-by-week studios, exhibitions, projections, and meetings. Thanks for watching.